Hello, this is a quick demonstration for the radial sliders. You can access it by here or by pressing the marquee menu. When you first open it, you'll get these buttons that are shortcuts, and each shortcuts can access a different layout with attributes that you can change. For example, the one shortcut is showing that, and the W is showing the width, and the T shortcut is showing the taper, the F shortcut is showing the BCM Flare stuff, and there is the middle mouse button that you can use without any other shortcut pressed. When I'm pressing the shortcut key and I'm keeping it pressed, I'll get this radial menu with this pre-selection zone, and after I'm pressing that zone, I can change the attributes that I selected. Let me demonstrate it with the card. So now I'm pressing the backtick shortcuts, and I'm selecting the width attributes. From now on, I can change the width attribute while dragging the mouse. I can drag it in whichever direction I want. You'll see the mouse is staying into the viewport as well. If I'm tapping the Alt key, I change to the taper attribute. So with the Alt key, you can change between two attributes. Then you can see there is these speed values, and the helper text is saying that the spacebar is changing the speed. So if I'm pressing the spacebar, I can change the speed with which I'm incrementing the attribute. I'm tapping again the spacebar and moving the mouse again, press back, and now I'm back to 1. If I'm pressing the 1 key and I'm keeping it pressed, I can change the width divisions. Also, the helper test tells me that if I'm pressing the left mouse button, I'm resetting to the starting value, and if I'm pressing the middle mouse, I'm going to the default value for this attribute. The starting value is the value that the attribute had when I initiated the radial sliders. Also, the tool has an absolute and a relative mode, which can be accessed by tapping the A key. Absolute mode meaning that you will put the same value to all the objects selected, and the relative mode means that you will increment the value for each object on its own. So if I have more objects selected, in absolute mode I can put the same value for the length division for all of the selected objects. With the F key pressed, you have the options to manipulate the BCM Flare attributes, but first you need to apply it to the card by going into the marquee menu and choosing the Add Flare. Then you will be able to manipulate it with the F key pressed. You can customize these options by going to the marquee menu and pressing this little square. Now you'll get a window with some shortcuts that you can see here. These are the shortcuts from here. And each shortcut has a different layout that you can customize. Let's add another one. That's how we can use it. I'll press this shortcut like 3. I'll save it. Now you see the shortcut appeared in the tool. You'll have the option to add more zones, for example, like that. You can add a lot of them, but let's add 2 for now. Select the attributes and go in here and select one attribute you want to change, for example, the offset. So let's put a default value of 0. Don't need a minimum value. And the vector, it's the speed with which we can change the attribute value at the speed of 1. Let's select the move view. For example, we don't have a default and minimum value and a factor of 0.01. Also, let's put in here the length attribute. Again, we don't have defaults and minimum value, and we'll put factor. And let's select the move v, for example, default value and 0.0. Okay, if you want to move between them, like if you want to move the length attribute from one zone to another, change this zone, this attribute. And now you see the length was moved from there to here. Let's move it back. Also, the alt attribute can be moved between them. I'll save the tool. And now if I'm pressing 3, I'm keeping it pressed. The offset of the card. I can change to move view, so now I'm moving the UVs directly from here. Also, let's change the length, but the length won't change. Let's move the move length won't change because we need to unlock it from the GSCurves control window. Go and select the curve and length unlock. Now I'm pressing 3 and I can actually change the length. Let me change the speed back to 1. Okay. We have the global attributes. Select width. That you can change the mouse button. You can select width. But I wouldn't recommend that because that's how Maya works. You're selecting with the left mouse button. Change values with is the mouse button that you can use to change the values without using the shortcuts. Now it's mapped to the middle mouse button and it has its own layout. So if you don't want to use that middle mouse button for it, when the tool is active, you can change that to left mouse button or whatever. I would leave it like that. The Alt key, you can actually change into another key. So for example, to change between the alternatives and your main attribute, you can put like a C. Now if you save, you will toggle between the alternative attributes and the normal attribute with the C key. Now if I'm tapping the C, so you see the herbal line show C for the toggle alternative attributes. Let me change it back to Alt. Okay, and save it. That zone, it's the zone, is the size of the zone for the pre-selection. So this zone. If you want to make it bigger, you can make it bigger, say 100. Save. Now you'll see that the zone is bigger. You have more space to move the mouse if you want. Reselect your stuff. Let me put it back to 50. Wait time. This being a tool, you can get out of it by selecting another tool, for example the move tool. But there is a problem. We have the W shortcuts mapped to this tool. And in Maya by default, to choose the move tool, you're pressing the W shortcuts. So in order for the script to know that you actually want to use the Maya shortcut, there is a waiting time during which you can release the key and it will be sent to Maya. You can make this waiting time longer or shorter in here. I find that 150 milliseconds are enough to make a quick tap on the key. The speed factors are the factors that you change when you press the spacebar key to change the speed. So you can put more of them or you can just leave one, for example, like this. And if you save, you will see that you can toggle the speed between 1 and 0.01. Let me put it back to what it was. 0.2. I'll save. You have the option to change the spacebar key to another key. Also, there are options to change the reset to stats modes button or to default. You can put a shortcut key for them as well. And the absolute value, you can change the key from A to another key. And here you have the options to change the colors. I have the option to change the colors for the headlines. You can see here. Also, there is a transparency you can put on it or not. And the wheel text, it's the text around your mouse. It's this text. You can change its color if you like so. The transparency, this is the color by default, and the highlighted color, it's when you pre-select when you're in the pre-selection zone and you're moving the mouse, you will see the pre-selection text, it's changed. Also have the options to change the colors for the dead zone lines when you are in pre-selection or in normal mode. And the selected one, it's after you selected an attribute. The unselected colors, now they have full transparency, but you can put them to whatever you like. If you don't save, you will get the same menu colors as before. Some problems that are with the script. It's first, when you first open Maya and you enter into the tool and you press the shortcut key, for the first 2 seconds it won't happen anything because the script needs to do his stuff. But after that, it will work like it's supposed to. Also, I had this problem when it messed with my keystrokes and Maya becomes unusable. If that happens, just make sure you're getting out of the tool, go in here and double click on it, open this window and press this button. Now it should work like it's supposed to. Use the tool with any object in Maya. For example, I'll use it with the cube. You can see there are subdivision width, subdivision height. I'll reopen the UI. Then if I create another layout, put like shortcut 3, for example. If I'm going to the attributes, I can select the subdivision width. You can change the name of the attribute you see in the UI. Save. Now if I'm pressing 3, I'll get the option to change the subdivision width. You can change the factor if you find that it's moving too slow. This was it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll find this useful.